Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of the Vessel and Voice podcast. I'm your host, Kim Charlson. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a question submitted by a listener. And I am very excited for this topic because it's something that coordinates really well with what Monty has been talking about in the Awaken. It coordinates really well with something that Monty's been talking about in the Awakened Authenticity community. And I'm really excited to bring this topic to you. So let's get into it. So our question that we're going to be answering today is from Christy. So thank you very much, Christy, for submitting this question. And Christy asks, I have a question for Monty. If the soul does not change, what is meant when he refers to soul growth? But as part of this, I want to invite you into a free preview of the Awakened Authenticity community. That there is a link in the show notes that you can sign up for that free preview, because this topic is something that we recorded our weekly messages for the month of May. And it's something he continues to talk about in those weekly messages. And it's something that I think is really valuable because it also answers a lot of questions about manifestation. Because this is a topic, as we're going to get into it with Monty, that comes from some other channels that when I was first starting off in my spiritual journey, I listened to a lot of channeled material from a particular channeler that talks about law of manifestation a lot and the law of attraction. And I always had questions about it of how can we stay high vibe all the time when being in physical manifestation is really hard. It's very difficult sometimes. Funnily enough, this month we recorded, and I batch record with Monty all of our weekly messages. So we've recorded the 4 weekly messages that we had for the month of May, and Monty talked specifically about this. And I was thinking to myself, well, this is so interesting. I really want to know more about it. And then the very next day, Monty and I had a one-on-one channeling session. And the very first question that someone asked in their session was, why can't I stay high vibe all the time when I'm supposed to? When this is said, this is how you manifest. Why is that? So not only does Monty answer in today's podcast, how does our soul actually grow if it doesn't change? But also he kind of hints at why we can't stay high vibe all the time and why those energies that we have within ourselves seem to always kind of be there. So we'll get into it with Monty, and I will see you at the end of this episode. Thank you for joining us for today's episode all about how your soul grows. We are delighted with this question because it provides us with an opportunity to be able to answer one of the most important questions that one could ask about one's journey in physical manifestation. Now, we will begin talking about this in more of an abstract rather than specific examples today, as there are times where your soul coordinates, we will say, with specific events that can occur in physical reality, in physical manifestation, that cause you to experience challenge energetically and to change through those means. Rather, today, what we are speaking about is the overarching growth of a soul, regardless of whether it is in physical manifestation or if it is in non-physical. We wish to comment on this in particular because we want you to have a broader understanding of how your soul functions in its essence rather than in specificity for one particular event that you may encounter or specific challenges that you may encounter within physical manifestation. So let us begin by first beginning with the soul and what the soul truly is. The soul is an essence of your being that is separate from the whole being the oneness, the universe, all that is. You may call it whatever you wish. There are many words for it. But your soul is one version of the energy that is available. Your soul is a reflection of all that is available, the all that is, the universe. And within your soul contains the ability to present every single energy, every single format of energy that is available within the universe. Now, we will comment quickly about that when you decide to be in physical manifestation, Your soul chose specific formats to present that energy, as we have talked about, that when energy is in creation, it is in specific formats. And so your soul has chosen, I wish to be in this particular format. And that goes for your physical manifestation of the features of your physical manifestation, as well as your energetic manifestation of how your energy can be interacted with and its unique essence of your energy in that particular lifetime. Now, on a multi-dimensional, multi-lifetime perspective of your soul contains all of the different energies of the universe. Those are always available to you. However, you have a natural inclination to show off, to present, to bring into form, whether physical or non-physical, and we will talk about the non-physical as a format today, and you are presenting that energy in a specific manner. Now, in our membership, we have been discussing the energy of hope and despair, because those are two energies that are very easy for humanity to understand, as they very often experience them. They are extremely common. Now, what you need to understand when it comes to your soul growth and how your soul grows is that these are actually the same energy, but being presented in different formats, different manifestations of how this energy can be interpreted, presented, interacted with, felt, seen. All of the different ways that you can interact with a format of energy, these are on the same energetic continuity, from despair to hope. They are the same energy, but merely different aspects of that energy. And so when you are working on your soul growth, there are certain energies that are on a continuum of an energetic interpretation that you can transmute from one end to the other of the format that you are expressing that energy. Now, it is important to understand that some of these energies are deemed more desirable, more advantageous by humanity. However, when you take the perspective of the universe, of all that is, there is no good or bad energy. They are merely different presentations, different formats, different ways of interpreting energy that are present within all that is. The all that is has a neutral perspective on energy because it contains both what humans deem the positive, such as hope, and the negative, such as despair. And it is important to understand that the reason why you have decided to grow in your soul is to experience the wide range of energetic formats that are available, not because you wish to go from a disadvantageous to an advantageous energy, because this is something of a construction of humanity. Now, we will also say that there is a construction within the spirit realm as well. We all have our specific culture that we create energetically and that we want to reside in, because our souls are separate from all that is. So it is very natural for us to see that one energy is something we want, one expression is something that we want over something that we do not want. So we are not saying that your job is to get always to the neutral point, but rather to experience the full range of energies, of the thousands of millions of different energetic abilities that are there, energetic continuums that are there, but rather that you are expressing your unique interpretation of these energies and your natural inclinations of expression along this continuum of each different energetic polarity. Now, with this understanding of that energies are very often the same, but are different formats that are presented, we would like you to imagine that within your energy, and we will use an analogy to help illustrate this, you have all of the different energetic continuums that are available to you to express. And if you think of them such as a double helix of DNA, what is presented to you is each one of the different crossbars is a different energy. And as you are choosing which energy to present, you are choosing to be on one pole or the other of this double helix of DNA. Now, this is an analogy for you to understand. This is not how energy really works within your system, but we wish to give you a visualization so that way you may understand in terms that humans are more familiar with. Now, as you think of these energies and the formats that they present, you can think of them as different expressions of your energetic DNA, for example, in our analogy. So, as you come into physical form, your soul has chosen to express different energetic formats and to experience different energetic formats. So, for example, you may be someone that you have decided that on the spectrum of hope to despair, you would rather be someone who constantly and consistently expresses the energy of hope. Now, this does not mean that there will not be times within your life that you feel your energy being pulled into despair, but that you have that natural inclination, that natural expression to consistently be pulled towards the energy and the expression of that energy to hope. This is how your energy is unique within your energetic DNA of the thousands upon thousands of different energetic continuums that are available. You have natural inclinations one way or another. Now, we will advise that not all of these would be seen as advantageous inclinations for your culture and where your soul is in this particular lifetime, or where it is in the spirit realm of understanding what types of energies it wants to express. So it may be that, for example, on the hope and despair spectrum, that you instead are consistently drawn to express the energy of despair on a consistent basis, and yet that is seen as disadvantageous by the energetic culture in which you are in. Because again, we are all living in separation from all that is, and we have opinions of what energies are better than others. Now, understanding this, that you have some expressions that are the positive, more advantageous interpretation of an energy, and others that are within yourself already right now that are more disadvantageous, considered negative interpretations of energy. How your soul is growing is that you are taking the energy from the pole that you do not want and transmuting it to the opposite end of the pole of that expression of energy. It is a challenge for you to consistently take the energy that you are creating within yourself. For example, if you are consistently someone who displays the energy of despair, to then transmute that energy into the energy of hope. Now, that is regardless of what challenges occur within your life, within the physical manifestation that you are in right now. It is merely an opinion of what energy you wish to express. And so your soul is evolving in this way of transmuting energies from one place to the other in terms of an expression along your energetic DNA. It is an experience of testing out different expressions and seeing what you prefer. And you may find that you, as your soul, through many of your evolutions, would rather stay at a neutral point of that expression rather than being someone who is expressing hope all the time. It may be that you, in your preferences of what your soul is, does not choose to present that on a consistent basis, but also would neither want to present despair on a consistent basis. And so your soul is experimenting, moving from despair to hope, possibly back again, over multiple lifetimes to come with a position of understanding that neutral is the position that you prefer. Now, it is important to understand that the more that you can get energies that you are working on in this particular iteration of your life to neutral, the more that the energies that you consider positive will be able to produce more results, be more easily seen, be more apparent to others, and to create manifestations for you by that energy working in the ways that you want. And of course, this is a preference. This is what you want in your soul. Your soul has desires. But what is important to understand is that your soul already contains the ability to express all of these energies. All of these energies already exist within you, which is why we say that your soul does not change, and yet it grows. It grows through the determination of wanting to express specific energies in specific formats and coming to realize how it wants to interpret its energy. Because in separation from all that is, your job, if you will think of it that way, is to determine an expression, to experience. That is all. You are not here to learn any particular lessons. You are not here to face any particular challenges, but rather to experience all of the different energies that are within you and to make choices and decisions about what you like, what you prefer, what formats you want to engage in. Now, this is only looking at your energy from an internal standpoint of you creating energy within yourself. It gets more complex when you begin to look at that you are in a relationship with everything else. While you are separate, you are affected by all that is. And so you are taking in energies as well into your system. And taking in those energies allows you to experience along the continuum of a specific energy, different energies that you yet cannot create within yourself. And this is also important to understand that as your soul is growing, it is learning the different energies, we will say. But it is more of a remembrance because those energies already exist. It is not that you have forgotten them, it is that you are not creating them within yourself. And so you are taking them in to experience them from the external and then deciding, is this an energy I wish to continue to experience by my own creation? That is how your soul goes from point to point to point in its expression. And over time, the expression of your soul changes based off of your preferences and what you wish to display. Now, there is an important factor to consider of the overarching culture that your soul is in. And this is formed by not only being in physical manifestation and experiencing different energies and making choices of those external energies being internalized. Is this an energy I wish to create? And being informed by the process of the culture overall of making those decisions, as well as your soul within your soul family. Your soul family also has specific choices and opinions about what energies are more advantageous. And so this is why there are different groups that believe that certain energies are more advantageous, even though they may not be in physicality together. For example, we, in this moment, as you are listening to this, our energy is one that you find attractive in some manner. There is some manner of our expression of our energy that aligns with what you believe is worthwhile, as well as Kimberly, in her expression, has similarities between our energy and her energy because we are in the same soul family. And so that creates an atmosphere of, for example, we would choose and want to desire the energy of hope over the energy of despair. However, there are other spirit beings and other souls that would much rather choose the energy of despair over hope, and they are not incorrect in their thought processes. It is merely a different opinion. Because as the universe exists in all that is, all of the different energies are expressed as different means, different formats, and is seen by different groups as being advantageous or disadvantageous. And this goes beyond just human creation into the much larger spiritual realms that are infinite. As the universe is also infinite, the expression of separation is also infinite. In the same way that you, within your energies, we have said there are thousands of them. It is truly infinite, the number of different energies that you can express. We hope that this has helped you understand a bit more, and we will speak in a future episode about when your soul is taking in energies from specific events and how that contributes to your growth along your soul path. But we wanted to first help you understand how your soul is growing while also being unchanged. We thank you and send you great love, especially for this question. Thank you, Christy. That is all. I think the most important thing that we can learn from today's message is that it's not actually about being high vibe all the time. It's about learning what energies are most natural to you, that come easily to you, and emphasizing those because that is the essence of your soul, because that's what your soul has chosen that it prefers. And then understanding that there are energies that you are expressing that you don't want, and being able to bring those to neutral rather than saying, I have to get that energy all the way to the opposite end of the spectrum. I have to get it to high vibe. That it's more about allowing yourself to be who you are most naturally and to understand that it's a choice of opinion. One of the other things that I think is important to take away is that Monty has talked about how it's a cultural bit, even within the energetic realm, of what energies are considered high vibe or more advantageous versus other energies that are considered disadvantageous. And so it is a choice and a matter of opinion rather than saying, yep, this is the only way it can be. I think that's really beautiful and allows for the expression of our souls and all of the different energy in the universe to be much more broad in our perspective and allow us to see that there is benefit to many more energies than what we are seeing as only those high vibrational energies of the opinions of certain channels and certain spiritual teachers. So I think that that's a broader perspective of it that it also allows us to understand a little bit more on how we can work with our energy. So I want to share with you in that private channeling session that I spoke about at the beginning of this episode, Monty did share some practical advice about what to do when you are in an energy that you don't want, that you see as disadvantageous. Most of the time, the energies that are within us, so the energies that our soul has chosen to work with, are energies that we naturally create. So, for example, if on the hope despair spectrum, that your energy is naturally creating the energy of despair. It's not that you are taking in energy of despair, but you just have that as part of your natural state and you don't want to be that way anymore. Taking in energy from the opposite end, so finding energy outside of yourself that you can consume, that's the energy of hope because it's the same energy, will allow it to kind of balance itself out a little bit better and get you to the point of neutral, to the point that you are not creating that abundance of the energy of despair, that expression on a consistent basis, that you're balancing those things out, which then allows you to get to that neutral point and you get out of that mode of creating that energy that you don't want, that then allows those more positive, those more advantageous energies that you do want to be more naturally expressed and to really take precedence over the other energies that maybe you don't want. I think that was a very practical way of looking at it, of that today in Monty's discussion, these are the energies that we're creating in ourselves. And when we begin to look externally, there are energies that we could consume that could allow us to then have the energetic supply, basically, to transmute the energy within ourselves or create more of the same. And I think the other thing that he talked about that is very helpful to understand is that because it's an energetic spectrum and the energy of despair and hope are actually the same energy, even when you're not high vibration and you're in that energy that you feel is low vibration, that's disadvantageous, it's actually still the same energy. It's just different formats and different presentations of it, but that you are still attracting the energy of hope if you're looking for it. That's something that Monty talks more about in all of the weekly messages this month in the Awakened Authenticity community. Again, you can sign up for that free preview to get the first week's message to really get a taste of what those weekly messages are like. So I hope you decide to take us up on that offer. And in the next few episodes, Monty's going to be continuing this theme. So next week, Monty's going to be talking all about what happens when we die and how that impacts our energy going forward and the energies that we carry forward after we die. And then he's got another episode planned after that one that's going to be talking about specific events and how those impact our unique energies within ourselves. So I hope that you have some questions as well. This was a question that was submitted via podcast comments on Spotify. So know that we're checking those comments. And if you want to send us an email with a question, you can do that as well at hello@kimcharlson.com. We would be happy to include your question in a future episode. So we'll see you in the next one.